everyone. Welcome to a special, as you said before we went live, Tim, the special Easter Sunday edition of Soup and Meatballs. So this is almost like, was it ham and matzah?
Yeah, exactly. It's our Easter / Passover episode.
There it is. Did you have a good Easter? Or did you have a?
Yeah,
it's right now, it's 11 o'clock in the morning on Easter Sunday. So have you had a good 11 hours?
I have. I've been learning the chord progressions to Country Roads by John Denver.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you put the capo on the second fret and then start with the G.
I gotta tell you, we were just up in Hazleton. My dad and I make Easter pie for the Easter, and one of our family, relative, friends, they're related. I'm not sure how. It's like through 7 marriages or something. Yeah, you remember Robbie Sacco?
Sure.
Robbie Sacco passed away a couple months ago, and his mother Joan gave Derek one of Robbie's guitars. So like we picked it up in Hazleton, and what's amazing to me is that kid picks it up, and he's a violinist, so he knows some strings, but he picked it up and started making music. He didn't make noise. I picked it up. I can, like, I don't know where the frets are. I don't know what a chord is. I can strum one string and make, that's a note, but I can't like do multiple. Yeah, that kid just makes music. It's ridiculous. It's unfair.
I'm confident that in 15 minutes, Derek could teach you how to play a G and an E minor. They're the first two I learned, and they're so easy.
That's the big thing, huh?
Well,
I don't know how you get the pick and you know what string you're on, or do you always go down on all the strings all the time?
So I'm still not confident with the pick. I still strum. And then different songs have different strum patterns where you have to learn up, down, up, up, down. Like you have to learn based on the tempo what the strum pattern is. So I'm still getting that down too.
I'm content to listen. I can play a mean CD player, and I can drum a little bit, but not anything like musical.
It's been interesting to like see how the same chords that make Stand By Me make Zombie by the Cranberries.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It's like the same way that humans and orangutans basically have the same DNA.
Well, that's one way to put it. Well, last week at this time we led the show off with women's college basketball. What do you say we do that again?
Yeah.
I didn't even change the graphic because I didn't have to. I didn't think this game was going to be as lopsided as it ended up being. I thought it was going to be close. I thought UConn was going to win. But really, the story here really stems from Gino had a bad day, didn't he?
This is, if it had just been a loss, it's a bad day. But this is a very bad look for Gino Auriemma. What happened?
Gino had a bad day. Gino had a really bad day.
Yeah. It makes him look petty. It makes him look like a sore loser. It took him 2 days to apologize, and even in his apology, he didn't mention Don Staley by name. For anyone who didn't see it, I mean, Dan Wetzel from Yahoo Sports basically said it was almost a Woody Hayes moment, where it looked like Gino Auriemma was coming over to physically confront Don Staley.
And I don't know what he believed in the moment versus what was actually in the moment. I saw his halftime speech, and he was talking about, I believe the girl's name is Strong. Whoever the best player is, like, I guess she had a ripped jersey.
She tore her own jersey.
And he was putting that blame on somebody from South Carolina, and whether that's what he believed in the moment or if he was just, angling to get some help from the refs in the second half. There's a difference there. If he really believed somebody from South Carolina did it, then he's coming at this from a different perspective. If he saw the video of her ripping her jersey, then yeah, it's a much different story.
Here's the other thing is that Gino Auriemma, with every rant that he went on after the game, sounded like a toddler trying to explain poorly why they're angry. He was having big feelings like a toddler and couldn't explain why. First, he was upset that Don Staley didn't shake his hand before the game, when video clearly shows that she shook his hand before the game. Then he said he was angry at the officials. Then he said he was angry that his player's jersey got ripped. Then he said he was angry that Don Staley was working the referees, as if Gino Auriemma has never yelled at referees from the sideline. When, the fact is that they have a rivalry with South Carolina, and pardon my language on Easter, but they got their ass beat.
No, that's fair. No, and a lot of people they brought up his rivalry, the way he used to treat Pat Summitt. It's really easy to be a rival when you're winning, and as a Michigan fan, the last 5 years against Ohio State, let me tell you, the first 4 were a lot easier than the last one. It's easy to be a good winner. Like you said, he comes off like a sore loser. And I remember I heard this quote somewhere. I don't know if it was an actual like sports personality that said it, or if it was somebody like Jay Muse. You show me somebody who's a good loser, I'll show you somebody who's got a lot of practice at it. Gino doesn't lose a lot, so when he does, it's like you said, he feels like a toddler trying to explain his feelings, and Gino's also on the older side, so you wonder how much of his faculties are there, especially in a moment that he's not familiar with, like getting his tail whipped. He's lost before, but UConn was completely outmatched by South Carolina in this one.
Yeah,
I don't think he's
held under 50 points, which just does not happen to UConn. And, we've spent all this time talking about what Gino did, and I think we should focus on first what South Carolina did by putting that beating on UConn, but also Don Staley to be surprised in the moment with 0.1 seconds left of the opposing coach coming over to her to get in her face. Showed a remarkable amount of composure. More composure than most would have been able to. And then in the post game, when Holly Rose asking her questions, and she's like, she explained it, and she's like, it's unfortunate, but let's focus on what the team did. That is much better than maybe Gino deserved even.
And now South Carolina's reward is UCLA. And
3 o'clock today.
I know past UConn good, like I have a caveman mentality of Division I women's college basketball. A lot of people, I think, looked at the South Carolina UConn game like the Michigan Arizona game, which we'll get to. UCLA, however, 36-1. Like they're no joke either. South Carolina 3.5 point favorites in this one. The over under is at 127.5. So the odds are with South Carolina, but it should be a close game.
And, you look at what UCLA did with Texas, where it was an absolute, the popular phrase now for ugly basketball is it was a rock fight. Well, these were ugly rocks. It 31-25 in the fourth quarter. That's like JV basketball.
It's
but if UCLA can do that to South Carolina, if they can make it just a wrestling match, that favors UCLA, because South Carolina on paper, and if you look at the tape, South Carolina is the more skilled team.
You said that was what, 3 o'clock today?
Yeah,
3:30.
3:30
on the ABC. Do you have a favorite in this one?
I think just with the recent past and the championship pedigree in the last 15 years, you'd have to say South Carolina.
South Carolina too, but again, my knowledge is caveman. UConn.
Yeah, again, I had UConn winning the whole thing, so what do I know?
What do we know? But you know what I do know? I know that in the Soup and Meatballs, what do you call it? Bracket challenge, whatever that we had with our friend Chris Palermo. With our friend Chris Palermo, I somehow got all 4 Final Four teams. That's never happened to me before. I've lost an entire Final Four in the first weekend before. That's happened. I've never gone 4 for 4 though, and I have to check right now. I used the same bracket for the Soup and Meatballs challenge as I did for my school, and this is a big one to me because apparently the school bracket has a gift card attached to it. I'm obviously number 1 with a perfect Final Four.
Sure, and Michigan, obviously, you did pick Michigan to win, right?
I did, and So right now, I don't know how many points you can score for in the finals. If I'm looking right now, I have 1,320 points, and my max is 1,640. So it looks like you can score 320 for. Yeah, I mean, I don't have this clinched by any stretch.
So who's the highest point earner so far with UConn as a champion?
Her name is Mrs. Newton. Kristen Newton is a wonderful teacher. She's Derek's AP pre-calculus teacher. She's sitting in second place with 1140. So whoever wins the final is going to win this bracket.
And she has UConn?
Yeah, she has UConn.
I like everything about Mrs. Newton that I've heard so far, except her choice of champion.
Yeah. So if we just take a second and appreciate for what this was, a lot of people calling the de facto national championship game, Michigan and Arizona. They had the nightcap in the Final Four, and it was a late one. Like we had
to sit through a Chainsmokers concert before we could get to the tip of Michigan, Arizona. I was on my phone. I assumed tip was going to be 20 minutes after the UConn Illinois game. And I look up and I see people twerking at half court, and I'm like, who asked for this?
What is this?
I had to make sure. I was like, is this on the right channel or did it switch over to something else? Is this Impractical Jokers? What am I watching?
I was out with doing some family stuff, celebrating a birthday, and I got home late. So I got a chance because of the concert, I got to see a large portion of the second half. But I'll tell you what, before the game, I spent a large portion of the day listening to, people who think they know college basketball saying that Arizona is the better team. And I heard it so much, I start to think, well, maybe they're right. And I really want to win this school title, and I have Michigan winning it all. And I thought, well, they should win, but maybe it'll be close. I think a lot of people forgot what Michigan did to these top 15 teams earlier in the year. How many double-digit wins? This one wasn't close from the tip.
No, it wasn't. I mean, Michigan was up double digits pretty early. Arizona had trouble shooting from the outside. Michigan dominated.
Well, Arizona's an inside team. The shooting from the outside wasn't their thing. I don't know why they tried it.
Yeah, they were really staying on the perimeter, and Michigan was content to let them. I was a little concerned early with the foul trouble, and then the injury to
Axel's. I didn't see it live, but I saw the replay of it. That did not look good. The ankle.
MCL. Yeah,
I saw the ankle. I didn't see what happened to his knee.
He strained his MCL, and was it a sprain of the ankle, a high ankle sprain?
The ankle looked rough, but he post game he said he was going to play on Monday. We'll see now that adrenaline is gone.
I was surprised he played as much as he did in the second half.
Yeah, especially when they were up by 30.
Yeah,
I don't know if I read it or I heard it that if you have any desire to play him, sitting him for any extended period of time and letting the leg tighten up, not a good idea. So maybe it was just May thinking, do we need him on Monday? Let's see what we have right now. Because if he was severely injured, I don't think Dusty May would have played him. I think Yaxel would have said, look, I'm out.
Yeah.
There's smart, and then there's dumb. The thing that Dusty May did that I thought was really good was he kept his foot on the gas, up 30. He didn't stop playing, and he had a great quote post game saying, "I guess you guys missed the Duke UConn game."
Exactly. Arizona's no joke. I mean, last night didn't go their way, but I mean, they were a number one seed for a reason. They hadn't lost since February 14th. What's that?
They played that game 10 times. It might be 6-4.
Yeah, I mean, things just broke.
Michigan had a lot of depth that I think really stuck out, and their center, the big guy, Ame, he had a monster day that maybe he doesn't have all the time. But the coolest part of this game, I don't know if you got a chance. Which broadcast did you watch?
I watched the main broadcast, but I did see there was the Fab Five cast.
I watched the Fab Five broadcast, and that was really entertaining, especially because Michigan was up 25, and there wasn't a lot of deep analysis of what's going on. The biggest thing they're concerned about, they wonder why their numbers aren't retired. There's a lot of guys wearing 4 and 21 out there, and Jalen wants their numbers retired.
Well, I mean, Michigan's really tried to distance themselves from that era, but with the wins being vacated and the Final Fours, because of the whole recruiting scandal.
That was the other thing. Jackson wants the banners put back up.
Yeah.
After they put another banner up this year. And, I mean, a lot of the recruiting scandal around Michigan was based around money, and that's we live in a different time now. So
I think we're 10 years away from that being restored. If Reggie Bush gets his Heisman Trophy back, I think the Fab Five can get their due as well.
For what their due was. And I'll tell you what, credit Jalen Rose for, when people came out and said this is the best Michigan team of all time, the 26 version. He came out and the first thing he said was, whoa, let's hold up on that noise. You hear about these guys named Glenn Rice and
Ramil Robinson and Terry Mills.
These guys, because he didn't put his group ahead, even though his group is now essentially at the same place in the finals. So if this Michigan team wins it all, that's a different story. You can start having that discussion, I think. But that discussion is going to go through UConn for the third time in 4 years. This team, where people said the Arizona game was the de facto national championship, let's not forget what UConn did to Duke, who a lot of people thought was going to be the national champion this year as well.
And, Illinois, I mean, they really didn't let Illinois back in that game. It got as close as like 5 points at certain parts, but UConn never really let them get within a basket of tying the game or taking a lead. UConn's just a gritty team. They're a tough team. I'm not a Danny Hurley fan, but, I'll begrudgingly admit they are extremely well coached.
Opening lines for this one, Michigan at 7.5 favorites. Analysts said if Yaxel was fully healthy, the line would be 9, which would be the largest championship game spread since 2009.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, UConn is they're the 14th best team in the country defensively, but their offense it's really reliant underneath. So if Michigan has one of these days where they're shooting even 35% from beyond the arc, it's tough for a team like UConn to keep that pace because Michigan has a pretty good interior defense themselves.
Yeah, I mean, with Mara on the inside, just 7'3" and just an uncanny knack for not buying ball fakes and just high pointing shots. It's tough to get anything in the paint against that.
I just got the numbers here. UConn's slow tempo offense ranks 319th in adjusted tempo. I don't know how you gauge tempo. I don't know how you track tempo, but they do. And UConn is I don't know how many teams are in Division I, but 319 seems like they're really down near the bottom.
Yeah, they are. What's the nice way to say it? They're deliberate.
There you go. I like that. UConn does have a perfect record in the Final Four and in championship.
One loss in the Final Four in program history, undefeated in the title game.
6-0. So we'll see on Monday if Michigan can put the 1 in 6-1. You and I both picked Michigan at the start of the tournament. I don't see any reason why to stop now. Cross your fingers for a big Meatballs win in the school March Madness tournament thing. It's really. I just want to put my picture on the morning announcements and say I'm the smartest. I know what I'm doing in sports, I guess. Speaking, knowing what you're doing in sports, you and I have been talking for the last 2-3 couple weeks about how good San Antonio is and the likelihood of San Antonio possibly making a deep playoff run. I guess the Nuggets had different ideas last night. Big overtime thriller. I don't know if you saw any of the highlights of this one, but Jokic was pretty clutch in this one.
Yeah, that fall away that he hit over Wembanyama is just amazing. The way that there's no way Jokic could have seen the basket. To hit that is just unbelievable. They were both unbelievable in this game. It goes to overtime. The Nuggets win it. It snapped like an 11-game winning streak for San Antonio. But, Denver needed that more than San Antonio. I think you saw the desperation of a Denver team that's trying to look its best going into the playoffs. San Antonio in a little more sure-footed going into the postseason. Trying to catch OKC, but what's that?
How about this now with Denver? Denver's looking up at Los Angeles. Now, Los Angeles got some really bad news this week. Yeah. Luka's hamstring, and I just saw yesterday Austin Reeves is now hurt, and the Lakers have a half-game lead. They're one up in the loss column on Denver. They both have 50 wins right now, and they're both as hot as heck, 8-2 and 9-1 in their last 10s combined. But the Lakers' injury situation now, they've got the Mavericks today. They're in Dallas. The Lakers are. Cooper Flag just put a 50 spot up the other day. The Lakers have 5 games left. One of them against Oklahoma City. The rest of them, you have Golden State, Phoenix, and Utah. But you wonder if those injuries enough to maybe lose one of those games that they should be winning.
Well, you talk about Oklahoma City. That's the game where Luka got hurt this week, and Oklahoma City was up 50. They ran the Lakers off the floor.
Like
a full strength Lakers team just embarrassed them. The Lakers are obviously very different without Luka, and certainly without Luka and Austin Reeves, because LeBron James has sort of accepted the third banana kind of role in LA and just being more of a facilitator for those two. I just don't know at 41 that he can be the driving force behind a team that makes a playoff run if Luka's not healthy.
I'm just thinking about the third seed here. Denver's got 4 games left. The Portland game, the Memphis game, they should be pushovers. They also have the Thunder, and then they go to San Antonio. So even with the Lakers injury, I think the Lakers probably steal the third seed. They probably stay in that third seed, which means they're going to end up playing Minnesota instead of Houston. I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'd rather play Minnesota or Houston.
I'd rather play Houston at this point because Houston's been falling apart a little bit after the All-Star break. Minnesota, I think, is a worse matchup for the Lakers.
Matchup-wise, Houston is they're still on a 5-game winning streak, and they still can score, a ton of points. Not like Denver is. They're the highest scoring team in the league.
They are. Their problem is they're so inconsistent defensively, but they can put up 120, 125 on anybody. Between Joker and Jamal Murray, they can fill it up.
There they are. As far as the guys you and I pay attention to in the East, last night Detroit clinched the number 1 seed, I believe. And then Boston and New York are 2 and 3. That's pretty much set. They have all played recently really good basketball, except for the Knicks when they play a team with a winning record. That's the problem with New York. And the last I checked, they're going to play a team with a winning record in the playoffs. The last they got, I don't know about run out, but they lost to Houston, lost to Oklahoma City. They lost to Charlotte.
Charlotte's tough.
Well, they're tough, but if you want to contend, if you fired your head coach for making the conference finals, telling the fans that's not enough. You don't lose to Charlotte if you're that team. These guys just I don't know.
They're very streaky. There are times where they play outstanding basketball. We've talked before about the way that they embarrassed San Antonio. A month and a half ago, and ended San Antonio's last winning streak. But yeah, they're also, of any team that's a top three, of the 6 teams that are top 3 seeds, the Knicks and Lakers are the ones most capable of throwing up a real stinker.
And the Knicks tend to do that. Again, against teams that you're likely to face in the playoffs. Right now, I guess they would match up with Philadelphia, which if they got past Philadelphia, I think that would be as far as they got. I don't think they beat Detroit. I don't think they beat Boston.
Philadelphia is not a gimme. If Paul George is healthy,
yeah,
you get Embiid for a full series.
That's what we said.
I believe the Celtics have a good chance of getting Charlotte, who scare me a little bit.
Yeah, well, they have to do the play-in. So I mean, you could get Charlotte, you could get Miami.
Right, Charlotte scares me more than Miami.
How about Toronto?
Toronto started the year hot. They've been up and down in the second half. Of those 3, Charlotte scares me the most, then Toronto, then Miami.
Okay. You're not going to see Orlando. They would go play They would play Detroit if they advance through.
Yeah.
That's where the NBA is. We have one more week, right? Next Sunday is the end of the NBA regular season, and that's when I'll start paying attention more closely, I guess. In terms of the MVP, the odds have changed a little bit, but still SGA is leading Wemby by a significant amount. Jaylen Brown's odds have actually doubled. I think last week we said they were plus 15,000. They're now plus 30,000.
Oh.
So good.
It really seems like a foregone conclusion that SGA is going to repeat. And the numbers bear it out. He's the best player on the best team, but I've said it before. I would much rather watch Wembanyama or Jokic or Jaylen Brown play basketball.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or Luka or Giannis. And Giannis has been hurt, but SGA is not my. The other night against the Lakers, the first shot he put up, he jumped up and he jumped forward and threw his arms out. He wasn't even trying to shoot. It is such a frustrating brand of basketball. And I can't begrudge him because the referees put him to the line. It's smart. But that doesn't mean I want to watch it.
The picture I have in my mind is like Beislein at Westcourt Playground trying to play basketball.
Kinda.
Yo, man. Just jump into somebody.
It's that chug a fifth of Jim Beam brand of basketball.
Woo! There we go. That's something else. So, all right, end of the NBA and the beginning of Major League Baseball, and a lot of cool things happening in Major League Baseball. And I want to start out in Pittsburgh, where the phenom top recruit Connor Griffin made his Major League Baseball debut. I don't know if you saw the video. His very first Major League Baseball at bat, he rips a gapper to left center, and his mom is sitting in like the expensive seats at PNC Park, and she tears up.
It, except. Are you talking about the clip where was this the clip where the kid was losing his mind, like having a tantrum?
No. It was Connor Griffin's mom just in the stands, watching her son hit his first major league double, his first hit and his first at bat.
Yeah,
and it was like all the mom energy in the world, like all the AAU tournaments, all the travel ball that she went to was like, this is why we did all this. And there's my little boy. I didn't see what's the tantrum thing.
I must be thinking of a different more interesting now. I must be thinking of a different player. I can't remember now who it was, but it was someone who got basically like the camera cut to a player's family and everyone's cheering and someone's holding like a 2-year-old who's just screaming his head off and like trying to wriggle out of his dad's arms or whatever.
Okay. No, I didn't see that. That's funny.
I will find it and send it to you after this, which doesn't help whoever might be watching, but it did happen.
That's fine. Sure, of course it did. No, so that is in terms of good news. That's good news. The other, news that people like me don't feel bad about. Juan Soto got hurt this week, and MRA has a strained right calf. Not sure when he will be back. Which, I mean, if you're a Mets fan, that's terrible news. Notwithstanding the fact that you're just hovering above 500 now, looking up at the Miami Marlins of all teams.
Yeah, and he just because he's just running the bases, just going into third and pulls up. You just for the game, you hope it's minor. You want Major League Baseball to have the Juan Soto's healthy and playing just because it's good for the game. But yeah, it didn't look great just to see him pull up like that, just doing something as simple as coasting into third.
Just running the bases. Early returns on we're in the third series now, so you don't even have a last 10 to look at. I can't complain about what New York has done. I got to tell you, man, the starting pitching for this team is incredible. They did something in their home opener against Miami that they hadn't done all year. This was game 7. It took them 7 games to give up a home run.
Wow.
They gave up 2 of them to Miami, but I think the overall the record was, I think the Braves, I saw, they took them 9 games to give up a home run. But for a team that doesn't have Carlos Rodon, it doesn't have Garrett Cole, Cam Schlittler came out and his start against Boston in the playoffs last year, kind of like his welcome to New York moment. Feels like he's for real. Max Fried still hasn't given up a run. You got to love that. The bullpen is going to be what the bullpen is. It'll be up and down. Bednar is the guy in the 9th inning. But they're 7-1. You can't argue with it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's admittedly a very small sample size, but you have to be happy with what you see, in the early going. Not so much with Boston.
I was going to say Boston just had another tough one yesterday. Who are they? Check who they're playing.
The Padres.
They had San Diego. Okay. Looking up at Tampa, they're in the basement, so there's only one place to go.
Yeah, I think they're. I haven't been able to see many games because I don't have MLB, whatever their package is called.
It would be TV.
Yeah.
I don't either.
But I think the Sox are on later today. I think
135 ESPN Unlimited MLB.TV.
I'll have to see if I get that with my my Hulu Disney ESPN package. I might because I'd like to see.
Starting Walker Buehler against Walker Buehler's from San Diego. He's going against Ranger Suarez. Suarez last outing, not exactly one to write home about.
Yeah, I was grocery shopping this week, and there's an older gentleman in a Red Sox hat who noticed that I had my Fenway hoodie on, and we were able to commiserate in the dairy section. He was from Quincy, Massachusetts, and we were able to commiserate over the slow start while I was trying to buy my egg beaters. So, yeah, not the start we would have liked. Everything that's going right for the Yankees, it's the opposite for Boston.
Well, it's early. It's the marathon, not a sprint. We worry about the records on Memorial Day, and we've got a while to get to there. But it's at least an exciting start now in New York. The other thing I want to talk about every week, because I think this has invigorated live fans, like to the point where, like, when this happens,
you get
if their team is right, you see it up on the scoreboard, the ABS challenge, the fans are into this now.
Yeah.
And if you're CB Buckner got knocked out of a game. I think last week he was injured and he had to get pulled. So one of the I don't remember the new umpire's name that had 6 overturned is now the new leader for overturns. Baseball Savant doesn't track umpires. I think there's like an umpire report card. I wonder if they do. Let me check.
Stevie Buckner's having a worse April than Boston because, he had that call, the Milwaukee call where the guy obviously stepped on the bag and got called out, and then it was.
Oh, what was that?
What's that?
What was that?
Did you see
He
that?
was looking over here.
Yeah, he's not even looking at the bag. He says the guy didn't hit the bag. The replay shows that he couldn't have hit more squarely on the bag.
Right in the top. Oh.
And so obviously the system worked in that case, but what a waste of everybody's time.
Well, no, I think that was a challenge. That was just a regular challenge. It wasn't an ABS challenge, but
for him to even call him out in the first place.
I think. I wonder what the betting odds of him finishing this year are versus just taking an early retirement, because this is going to have to start wearing on you from just being wrong, and all the fans doubling down.
Yeah, the
on cheering
gotta be overwhelming
when you're corrected.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like, I mean, we heard, was it in spring training? We heard the one who played umpire say, "Please be a strike." Like he didn't know his mic was still hot.
I didn't hear that. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh God,
it was a spring training game where it was a challenge, and he said, "Please be a strike." And then, like, you can hear the audible laughter of all the fans who heard the hot mic.
Well,
the umpires are sweating.
But if you're just guessing though, like if it's within like 0.3 inches, like if they're that close, you just got to respect the fact that the batter's eyes are just that good. And maybe the ump has a different perspective looking down versus looking over. I don't know. But some of these calls that are like when the entire ball gets the square, come on, you're a major league umpire. You got to be able to make that call.
And I'd made the point last week that like these are affecting games, like in positive ways that the calls are being right now. But the one that in the Red Sox opener that Roman Anthony got called out on, he challenged. He gets a walk instead of a strikeout, and it leads to a 2-run inning to make it a 3-0 game for Boston to win the opener instead of 1-0 going into the Reds' bottom half of the ninth. That's big to have a 3-run cushion over a 1-run cushion. Playing on the road.
Huge. I don't know if I sent you the video or if I just I saved it just to talk about, but there was a sports person on TikTok who wondered openly. There's a guy like Dustin Pedroia who has a career average of 299. What could 30 extra swings have given him? Could he have been a career 300 hitter if this system had been in place 15, 20 years ago? I don't know, and I don't know if going forward what the effect will have on a guy like, Aaron Judge, who historically has gotten some of the worst called strikes, largely because of his frame. He's 6'7", 6'8". That happens. Dustin Pedroia was a small guy.
Well, you can even go
swings, though.
You can even look at bigger what ifs, like 97. What was it? The Eric Gregg game, the Livan Hernandez, where the strike zone, it was a table instead of a plate that day. It was 8 feet wide. If you have ABS, then do we have a different team representing the National League in the World Series?
You very well might. Right now, currently, because again, I'm interested in this stuff. The player who has the most won challenges, the catcher from the Angels, Logan O'Hoppe, he's 9-1 in his 10 challenges. Will Smith of the Dodgers and Edgar Quero of the White Sox still lead the league in challenges. They each have 12. This is big. The plus K flip. Big Dumper has 3 Ks that he flipped, and Ryan Jeffers of Minnesota has 3. And then Shea Legaliers, Mr. Smarty Pants, know who Shea Legaliers plays for?
I don't.
Your Sacramento Athletics. And Adley Rutschman have two challenges that have flipped walks away from walks. Those are
your Irvine, California Athletics.
There you go. I think this is the most fascinating thing to track in terms of stats. The batters are 50-50. There's 112 overturned and 110 confirmed, so it's as close to 50-50 as you can get. 59% for catchers, which tells me, if you get a base hit 30% of the time and you're a Hall of Famer, 59% is astronomical.
All right.
It really is.
Let's do this. Finish this sentence. The ABS challenge is the best change to baseball since what? I think this is better than the pitch clock.
It lowered the mound. I don't know.
This is better than the pitch clock. This is better than the DH.
It's better than the bigger bases. It's certainly better than the ghost runner.
Certainly better than limiting pickoff attempts.
Oh yeah. Oh God, I forgot about that. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. This is amazing.
It is.
This is finally a rule change that has changed the game in a positive way.
And they're doing it technologically. They don't have to have all the umpires huddle. It's not like an instant replay in football where I'm going to go to the bathroom and get myself a sandwich while they figure this out.
Yeah,
no, it in real
like
time.
Like in the NBA where they have a 10-minute conversation to decide, is it a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2?
Let's look at it once more time from this camera. Yeah, no, it's 5 seconds and it's done.
Yeah.
So are we saying baseball did something right?
I complain about Rob Manfred so much. We've made the point that it does not seem like he even enjoys the sport that he is the commissioner of.
I agree.
We have to throw roses to the guy because this is a positive change for the game of baseball.
Broken clock right twice a day.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for him to be right a second time, but he got this right.
He got this one right. You know who else gets stuff right? Mike McCartney. Is there any better sports agent right now? Kirk Cousins is represented by Mike McCartney of Vayner Sports. He's on his way to Las Vegas to play for the Raiders, or at least be on the Raiders team. The Raiders agreed with Cousins on Thursday on a contract that will pay him $20 million in guaranteed money, which marks the 11th straight year that Kirk Cousins is getting guaranteed money. It includes a club option for 2 years at $80 million, could be worth up to $172 over 5 years. Now, he's obviously a bridge guy here for Mendoza, NFL draft in 2 weeks, but he's a pretty good bridge guy. And he's a guy who had a good relationship with Michael Penix Jr. And if that worked, I think this can work for Mendoza too. And Cousins gets another paycheck. How about that, man?
I saw a clip earlier this week. It was a clip of Revenge of the Nerds, where Anthony Edwards and David Carradine are showing up on David Carradine or Keith Carradine, it doesn't matter, are showing up on campus, with their horn-rimmed glasses, and the frat guys are going, nerds, nerds, nerds. And at the bottom, the caption said, Ramiro Mendoza and Kirk Cousins showing up in Vegas for training camp.
That's a great, I like that. That's a good call.
They're such whole milk for every meal kind of guys, they don't fit the Raiders image. They don't fit the image of guys who would play in Vegas.
Tom Sillo, friend of the show, the old Raiders fan, like Kenny Stabler.
Kenny Stabler drinking some wild turkey before he goes out to take a couple snaps.
Tatum. No, Kirk Cousins is the other end of the spectrum, to say the least.
Yeah, but like you said, as a bridge guy, he's about as good as you're going to do. Solid.
And I'll tell you what, the money that he's going to get, I mean, his agent should be in the Agent Hall of Fame. I'd say that right there.
Yeah. What can we look it up real quick? What are Kirk Cousins' career earnings?
Kirk Cousins career earnings. Yeah, I think Spot Track does that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is disgusting. You're gonna. It's loading here. It's at what's estimating his deals here with Oakland. His career earnings top $321 million.
My God.
And he's only a $1.3 million cap hit in 26.
That buys a lot of milk.
Does it? It's an $11.3 million guaranteed contract, plus they're giving him the $10 million roster bonus. That's where that's where it gets up to 20.
That agent deserves standard cuts 10%. He earned 15.
What's 15% of 20 million? And can I live on that? How long can I live on that?
3 million?
20 million times. I could retire on $3 million, I bet. That's 60 years of $50,000 a year. I would be okay. I don't think I'm going to live 60 more years. I did, we'll get to that. That's coming up. The other thing, NFL thing that I saw, you can really tell it's the NFL offseason because the news media is trash talking Jalen Hurts and his relationship with coaching. They put out a story about his being uncoachable, changing plays. I guess there was a 4 vertical thing against San Francisco at the end of the Niners playoff game. I've seen it in the report that it was like a sideline collaboration. Like the OC came up and said, hey, what do you think we should do? So, like, I don't know if that's uncoachable. CJ Gardner-Johnson actually came out and defended Hurts, and so did Stephen A. Smith to an extent. Although when I saw his little opinion, he just kind of flip-flopped back and forth talking to himself. I mean, Tim, you're the resident Eagles fan. This has to get old after a while. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong. And I'm not concerned about Jalen Hurts. What I am concerned about is it feels like someone in the organization is trying to hamstring him a little bit. Whether, someone on the coaching staff is worried about job security and wants to throw Hurts under the bus. I can't imagine it's Howie who gave him all that money, and Lurie seems to love him. I don't have any issues with Jalen Hurts. I had my issues with Kevin Patullo. Kevin Verts Patullo,
Now, see, he's putting that on Hurts now. He said Hurts called that.
Yeah, I just, I don't buy it. I think if the Eagles take a step back this year, it'll be because of the way the cupboard got raided by other teams in free agency. The Eagles just lost a lot of depth, a lot of talent. That's not on Jalen Hurts. And if they're trying to preemptively pin the blame on him, I think that's an organizational failure.
You're in the NFL offseason when it's either the trash talking of Jalen Hurts or the Cowboys are making some kind of news. But the Cowboys will make news closer to summer when I don't know whose contract is up, but that seems to be
like he's 1 year removed from winning a Super Bowl, and not just winning a Super Bowl, but playing outstanding in the Super Bowl.
I'm with you. I heard it on the radio.
He's the most accomplished quarterback in franchise history, and this is how you're going to treat him?
I heard on the radio, I think it was on Wednesday, and my first thought was, like, why are we talking about Jalen Hurts in April again? But
yeah. For a guy who conducts himself so professionally, I've never seen a guy be such a lightning rod of controversy that has nothing to do with how he handles himself. It's entirely how other people perceive him.
It's a very similar attitude that I had toward Caleb Williams when guys like Chris Canty would just poo-poo and just talk about him and blah, 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 blah. It was almost enough to make me want to put Chris Canty on the list. But we're not there yet with Canty. He's still okay. But from what I understand, we're not putting one person on the list today. We got 2.
I've got something to add to the list.
Cool. Well, I will defer to you first because I have video for mine.
Okay. So I just want you to imagine that you're a fan of a team that is so bad that they are tanking all season. They're unwatchable. Everyone knows they're not trying to win. But you're a fan of the team. You buy a ticket. The ticket's expensive. You go through all the hassle of, you get out of work. It's a Wednesday. You fight traffic. You go to the stadium. You get to the game. They have a promotion that they're going to, call a ticket number, and then they call your ticket number. Amazing. So you've had to sit through this miserable season. You had to sit through miserable traffic just to get there. This is the nice ray of light in your day, in your year. Right there. You go to
little happy face.
Yes.
Can't see it.
You go down to the court. They say, we're going to have you shoot a half-court shot blindfolded, and if you hit it, you win $10,000.
That's it? 10,000, a blindfolded half-court shot.
They put the blindfold on you. You shoot your shot. The crowd goes crazy. You've hit the shot.
That's amazing.
They bring out a big novelty check. They present it to you, $10,000. Oh, wait, Wednesday was April Fool's Day. The Washington Wizards were playing a funny joke on one of their fans. Washington Wizards, you're on the list.
Oh, my gosh.
Terrible. Your season is the April Fool's joke.
Only $10,000. They couldn't buck up $10,000. This guy hit a blindfolded half-court. Did he really hit it?
No, he didn't hit it.
Okay.
Like, everyone was in on the joke. They told the fans, to cheer. Yeah. So that was the funny joke they played on this poor guy.
I hate April Fool's Day. I really do, because you can't go on social media. And I get there's big time organizations that they want to do stuff like this.
There's it would have been better if they were like, oh, you didn't make the shot, haha, no $10,000. Here's a check for $20,000. Like if you do something positive as a joke, I'd be all for it. But that's just terrible to do to that poor guy.
It is.
He's already a Wizards fan. How much worse do you need his life to be?
I'm speaking as someone who was the recipient of $10 at a Hazleton area Lady Cougars basketball game for hitting a half court shot. I won $10, but I wasn't blindfolded. $10,000. That's.
And can you imagine if Joe Gavio took that $10 out of your hands and said, "Just kidding, Max"?
That. Well, I mean, I was in high school. What was I going to tell him? No. but wow, that is. Yeah. Put the Wizards on the list, and whoever. You got to find out who came up with that. Who's in their promotion department, because they need a special place on the list, Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's just awful.
For me, I saw this on TikTok, and I want to show you. So let me hit the share screen button, and let's get this video playing here.
Oh, yeah, this guy.
Moment between a Texas judge and an IT worker going viral.
You get out of my courtroom.
This clip shows Harris County Judge Nathan Milron moving aside to allow the IT staffer to help with a computer issue.
5 seconds. 1 second. You don't have to go far.
The technician quickly resolves the issue and makes light of it.
False alarm. No, it wasn't a false alarm. False negative.
But Judge Milron doesn't find it funny.
Don't joke around. I'm serious about this. It was happening. Again. I understand. I'm just saying I can't see it, sir. We're good. Thank you. Get out of my courtroom.
After telling the staffer to get out of his courtroom, the judge can be seen commenting to himself.
Sick and tired of this today.
Milron, who was elected in 2024, commented overnight on Facebook saying, "The video has been edited, right?" But he did not elaborate any further.
That right there, I saw the original clip. So you saw something that was just from a news station, KPRC2 in Houston. According to KPRC in Houston, how about this? Milron's filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy last May, and it allows individuals to reorganize their finances, repay debts over time through a court-approved plan. And the court documents show that his case was dismissed in June after he failed to comply with required filings outlined by the court. So here's a guy who can't follow or decides not to follow a court order on paying back his debt, but this is how he treats, his courtroom. Listen, that kind of behavior, and he's only been on the bench a year, I think, that I saw in Texas. Absolute.
I saw,
just that guy's just the IT guy's just joking around. Like, why can't you just understand? Like, all right, I messed up. There wasn't a big deal. You don't have to be a prick about it.
And from because this has been shared throughout different platforms on social media where people have other videos of him in court, like threatening lawyers in his courtroom, and this is pretty par for the course with this guy apparently.
So a lawyer reaches out, like this guy. This lawyer just said, "I hope you apologize to the IT guy,"
and he offered to punish the attorney.
Yeah, well, Miller says, "You are going to be in my courtroom to talk about some ex parte stuff." Now, I don't know anything about the law, but I learned that ex parte is if you are involved in a case, you're not allowed to talk to the judge off the side. That makes sense. Only problem is this lawyer doesn't have any other cases pending in this judge's courtroom. So there's no such – he's just expressing his First Amendment right to call out this judge, as we are right now. Like, we're going to get an email to, Soup and Meatballs, 2187
in Texas court.
At Gmail. I'm not going to
pay for that plane ticket.
This guy can, because let me tell you something, Milleron, you just made the list, and it's an asshole list because that's what you are.
We should sentence him to a season of having to watch The Wizards.
Yeah, and I have nothing further to add. Oh God, that's how can you get so fired up?
Another edition of Soup Justice
on a wonderful holiday Sunday. Goofball. All right. Quick hitter time. And I'll be honest, we don't have a ton of them today because I didn't write a ton of them down. I have a couple ideas, though. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Number one, in news trying to, provide equal news coverage to our United States government, the president signed an executive order regarding college sports this week. In short, the order would limit the number of transfers a student athlete can make and also would restrict the amount of money a student athlete can make. I actually don't hate the transfer part, but limiting the amount of money that a kid can make, that feels like it's a slippery slope. Now, I think it's mostly for show. I don't think the president has a lot of authority over college sports, but it's sports related, so I thought we'd talk about it. Do you think this is a good move or a not so good move for college sports?
I have two thoughts on this. First, I think it's interesting that the party of small government thinks they need to interfere in college sports instead of letting the NCAA deal with it itself. And B, I'm glad that there's nothing else going on for the government to focus on at the moment than how college athletes are being compensated. So that tells me that, the country is steady as she goes.
Number two, as I previously reported, we spent a couple days up in northeastern Pennsylvania, and my son he got a guitar for just being a musician. I was going to ask what the latest thing you were playing on. You kind of shared that already. Is there something on the horizon that you can share with the viewers on air? You had the Meatballs song.
Well, I wanted to try to learn Suspicious Minds by Elvis, but I watched the video and that's a little more advanced than I am ready for. Okay. So I might try to learn Jackson by Johnny Cash.
Okay, cool. Are you aware that last week we discussed the possibility of a Soup and Meatballs rap song?
Of course.
You knew this was going to happen. I'm going to see if I can get it to play here. Oh my heavens!
I am so excited.
I feel bad now. Oh my gosh! It did. Are you telling me it didn't save? Oh, this is brutal.
This would be like if Da Vinci's janitor accidentally threw out the Mona Lisa.
I think that. Well, so I. Oh my gosh! This is terrible. Well, I used a fun little AI generator, and long story short, I don't have it right now, which is a bummer. But I used an AI generator. I wrote I copied all the lyrics in, and it generated. It was a scale of 1 to 10. It was about a 6.5. It was okay. I will try to get it for you next week.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I was just going to click the link and play it. Yeah, it's. I feel bad. I did make a. I wonder if this will play. Here we go. Or do I have to share this? You hear the piano there?
No.
No. Did you hear it before?
No.
Okay. So let me. I'll show you screen. Maybe you can hear this.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a couple bars here. I'm not gonna play.
Back in the fall of 2000, on a campus in Indiana town, two young hearts didn't know it yet, but the world was turning around.
That's all we're going with right there. Every year I do this.
Max and Jen.
I do this ridiculous thing called Jen Day just to give Jen a present. Because it's not Mother's Day, it's not her birthday, it's not Christmas. It fits, right? So I created a music video with some videos of us throughout the years, and I asked AI to write a song in the style of 80s power ballad, and it became the Jen Day power ballad. I did the same thing for Soup and Meatballs, and it was, like I said, 6.5. It was nothing special, but I had it, and for some reason the silly site didn't save it. So try again next week.
All right.
Oops. Sorry. and that was it. That was my quick hitters for the day. Like I said, super quick.
And we're already at the draft. My goodness. I have my hastily scribbled list.
Well, we're an hour in. This is about average for us.
That's true.
I think. So here we are. What do we draft? It was your idea. Draft one.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw the clips or if you saw in real time.
I saw
of the Angels.
Yeah.
Who Rob's 3 home runs, which I've never seen.
One you get. 2 is crazy. 3.
Yeah.
1 you get. 2 is like wow. 3 like.
And the third one especially, where he goes, boobies over banana basket into the right field bleachers. And then everyone's like, did he catch it? And then he like hops up with his glove, and they're like the place just went bonkers. So inspired by that defensive effort, I said we should draft our top defensive outfielders of our lifetimes.
Oh, you want of our lifetimes? Okay.
We can go all time if you want.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I have 8 listed, so we might have to default to all time.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll see. So here we go. I got to see here because I did look at that. It was a quick glance this morning. Yeah, you did say of our lifetimes. I really have to pay more attention. That's what I've discovered here. So number and color.
I'll go colorful for Easter, so I'll go red, and I'll go again for Easter. I'll go 3.
1, 2, 3 is the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, the abolition of slavery, which is where's the 6 of spades? So you're not going to win this one. The 13th Amendment formally abolished slavery in the United States, passing the Senate on April 8th, 1864, and the House on January 31st, 1865. On February 1st, 1865, Lincoln approves the resolution of Congress submitting the proposed amendment to the state legislatures. There it is.
All right.
Oh, and I shuffled it in the wrong way. So it's like a magic trick. Now I got to find it and put it back. All righty. So I put my list together very, very hastily. I just wrote down a bunch of names that I thought they fit the bill in my head. So I don't have a lot of commentary to go with it. But I think the first guy kind of speaks for himself. He was a a human highlight film, and he provided one of my favorite All-Star game memories by robbing Barry Bonds. I will take Torrey Hunter to lead off.
Torrey Hunter was on my list, and was that the 01 All-Star game where he robs Bonds and then Bonds goes out and picks him up?
With a big smile on his face, like, because they understood that it's an All-Star game and who cares. But Hunter was roaming center field in the Metrodome was a force defensively for his career.
Yeah, he was on my list.
Right there, I've done. Hey, I drafted well. I don't know, maybe if he's worthy of the first spot, but
and Torrey Hunter was kind of the successor to Kirby Puckett, who another great one for the Twins. For my number one, I'm going to go with a guy who, for the longest time, I couldn't believe he wasn't in the Hall of Fame, and it's because I just felt he was the best defensive outfielder I'd ever seen. Which is Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones, he was on my list as well. 10 Gold Gloves,
just tremendous. And then also when you throw in the fact that he was, a switch hitter with 400 plus home runs, I just couldn't understand why it took so long for him to get in. But I don't know that I've seen a better center fielder.
19 years old, I think, in the 96 World Series, and he tore the cover off the ball. Maybe not literally like the guy the video we saw the other day.
Right.
But he did a number on Yankee pitching in that series. And like you said, one of the best to roam center field. I don't know how much stock you put in the whole Gold Glove thing, but you get 10 of them. It says something.
Yeah, Gold Glove, it's tough because after a while, sometimes it becomes a reputation thing. But I feel like his were earned.
So I have my highlight guy. Now you need an arm, and I'm going to take I really wish this guy would have been a Yankee. They went for Gary Sheffield instead. I'm going to take Vladimir Guerrero, the senior, not the junior.
Vlad is on my list as well.
That guy could shoot down a Lamborghini from 500 feet. Yeah,
one of the great arms. And I'm curious, how close was he to becoming a Yankee?
I don't know. Sheffield. I saw an interview with Sheffield a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about how he became a Yankee. And I think in his interview, he said Cashman wanted Vladimir, but Steinbrenner wanted me, so Steinbrenner won. And it's funny. I don't know how close it was.
Vlad's in the Hall of Fame now, but I still think he's overshadowed a little bit by some of the other outfielders of his era that people maybe don't appreciate how great he really was.
He was one of the best bad ball hitters, I think, of the era.
He would swing from ankles to eyeballs.
You couldn't throw a ball by him without him thinking, I can hit that.
Yeah.
And he could a lot of times.
You're right. One of the elite arms in right field, MVP caliber guy. World champion.
Lost in Montreal for a long time, and then when he ended up in LA or Anaheim, whatever they were, they had great lineups with him, and I think Garrett Anderson and Troy Gloss were still around by then, and
yeah,
I forget who their leadoff guy was, Chone Figgins, that could steal all kinds. So the Angels they had a good lineup back then. They didn't have pitching.
Well, in 2002 they had
enough to win it all, sure.
Yeah. I'm going to go, again, when we talk about arms, a guy, and not a big guy, but a big arm, and he was a Yankee, and I'm going to go with Ichiro.
Ichiro's on my list, too. And really, he had an underrated arm. He a lot of range, speed helps, but a bullet arm from right, a scary arm for the size of the guy.
Yeah, like
the highlights I remember seeing of him. Wow.
Yeah, just the few clips I've seen, he was almost Clemente-like in right with that arm. He could just throw with, just such accuracy, and just he could gun anyone down at any base from any part of the outfield, the corner, the wall, wherever. Just outstanding. There was nothing Ichiro couldn't do in baseball.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure he'd have a hard time making a spotless beef Wellington.
Well, we don't know that. Have you ever seen him make a beef Wellington?
No, but I'm making a prized assumption. Like I feel good about it.
I'm sure he couldn't achieve flight like without a plane or something. Like he couldn't just flap his arms.
That's fair. Have you seen him try?
I think the beef Wellington's more likely, though.
I think it's fair. That's fair. So my number 3 guy, I'll tell you what, it's kind of interesting that he's made it this far, because he's got a good combination of outstanding defense, highlight plays, and oh yeah, the guy could hit too. I'm gonna take the kid. I'm Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, he was 3rd on my list.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and you talk about robbing home runs. Just the knack that he had. You can almost in your mind's eye see him in the Kingdom, kind of like running up and judging when to try to like put 2 feet into the wall to try to scale it and go up and get one.
And he made it look easy.
He really
did.
Did.
That was the frustrating thing about it. Like I did a tour at Old Yankee Stadium in, I want to say 2005, so I will. And Jen and I are walking from Monument Park around the warning track to the dugout area, and I put my hand up. I'm standing straight up, and I'm not a tall guy by any stretch, but my hand did not reach the bottom of the 314 sign in right field. That tells you how high that wall is.
Yeah, they're like a good 12, 14 feet.
They're massive. Let me see if I can find out here. I'm sure it's on his baseball reference page. Ken Griffey was 6'3".
Yeah.
Big guy. Ooh, you know where he was born?
I know him and Stan Musial were born in the same town. Is it in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, he was right along the Monongahela River in a town called Donora.
Yeah.
Look at that. Ken Griffey Jr., Pennsylvania guy.
Him and Stan Musial have the same birthday, the same birthplace.
Wow.
Because
But anyway,
I remember
6'3".
seeing the trivia question, like, how would you like to be born in a place on a certain day and not be certain that you're the best baseball player born on that day in that hospital?
Well, I'm fairly certain that I probably was not the best baseball player born in St. Joe's Hospital, but that's.
I'll have to go over the records for Riverside Hospital in Boonton, New Jersey.
That's a question. You were the Par Troy Little League Player of the Year, so you've got that.
I don't know if I've mentioned that I won a few whoppers in the summer of 1988. I was a home run champion.
There it is.
So since I can't have Griffey and I want another highlight reel guy, I'm going Bo Jackson.
He would have been my next pick. So
I know I've told the story that I was lucky enough to see him in person rob a home run of Jack Clark. The very first baseball game I ever went to at Old Yankee Stadium in July of 1988. Bo Jackson went up the left field fence and robbed Jack Clark of a sure home run.
And let's not forget maybe his best play, gunning down Harold Reynolds. Harold Reynolds is not Max Gemelli. He's not running like Harold Reynolds. Yeah, the story he tells about Ricky is funny. I get 60 by the break, but he guns him down at home, and that wasn't a close play.
So he throws it from the corner again in the old Kingdom, and he throws it a good 15 feet over the cutoff man's head on an absolute rope to the catcher. And it was such a good throw that the umpires were out of position because they didn't even expect to play at the plate. The umps were supposed to rotate, and they were out of position to even make the call at the plate because it was that unexpected. I mean, this is a guy who ran up walls just because he could.
Yeah, and so there's a playground I take Maria to that has like this parkour equipment or like Ninja Warriors type stuff, and they have like a ramped wall that you're supposed to run up around. That's not easy. Like I'm 76 years old. I'm not trying it, but like I don't think 15-year-old Max was doing that. So when you see him run up a wall and take 6 steps or 5, whatever it was, that's incredibly hard.
Well, this is also a man who broke his bat over his head.
He didn't. He snapped it. He didn't.
Well, he broke it over his thigh.
Yeah, that's the thigh thing. And one of the best books I've ever read. I'm not a big book reader, as you know, but Bo Knows Bo. I forget what grade I had to read that in. I did a report on it. Phenomenal stuff. Like cool behind the scenes of him in high school and college. To Soup and Meatballs book fans, check that out. Bo Jackson, Bo Knows Bo. My number 4 guy, it's more like it's a highlight pick. He was the second guy I thought of actually after Torrey Hunter, because back in the 90s, he would make these diving catches out in center field that were like, how did he catch? It looks like a wide receiver over his shoulder. 8-time Gold Glove winner, Jim Edmonds.
Yeah, Jim Edmonds is on my list. And yeah, he
not the best hitter in the world, but holy cow,
all-star level. But
what you want from him?
Between the Angels and the Cardinals, he was an all-star level hitter.
I'm looking at low 300s. Oh, he had some the power numbers. There we go. That's why.
But absolute
30,
stud in center,
42.
and he has that one catch that's just like the catch.
You know the one I'm thinking of. It's like the hill is right there,
back to home plate.
Yeah. I'm not sure he saw the ball, or if it just God willed it into his glove as he fell.
It often gets cited by people our age is the greatest defensive play they've ever seen. It's what Willie Mays' catch in the 54 series was to like our fathers. That's what Jim Edmonds' catch was to us. That is fair. For my number 5, and I have 2 honorable mentions I'm going to skip over for the time being.
Because I need one more. And I don't think you're going to take him, so I think I'm safe with the last guy on my list.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if you have my number 5, but he's a guy who I don't even necessarily know how many Gold Gloves he had, but he was just really unheralded. But if you remember Devon White from the Toronto,
the Blue Jays.
He was in the outfield with Jesse Barfield and George Bell, and he played.
I remember Jesse Barfield's hair, but I remember Devon White's name.
Yeah.
Because Devon was a cool name. No, I'm with you. I don't know much about his defensive prowess, but
just like a classic 80s leadoff hitter with a lot of speed, and just was able to glide through center field and catch anything that was hit anywhere remotely near him. I can't remember who it was, if it was Tom Verducci in Sports Illustrated, who said Devon White is so smooth he could walk across a floor covered in potato chips and not break one. And that was as good a description if you ever saw Devon White play center field.
There you go. Drafted by the California Angels in the 6th round. 7-time Gold Glove winner. Yeah. And I knew him with the Blue Jays, but he spent some time in California, Florida, the Dodgers. He was also a Diamondback.
I didn't know he was with the Diamondbacks.
In 1998. He was an all-star for the Diamondbacks.
I remember him with the Angels. But I think of him mostly with the Blue Jays.
I do as well. And they have value batting, advanced batting, postseason batting, standard fielding. Here we go. Not that I understand any of these goofy numbers that seem to matter. Standard and range factors, league fielding percentage. He's right up there at the top of all the metrics they have. So, like I said, I didn't know much about Devon White as a fielder, but I will default to you. My number 5 guy is most certainly more known on the other side of the field. But he's a guy you don't run on. He's a guy that out and right has another cannon. He just seems to hit a lot of taters as well. I'll take Aaron Judge.
Oh yeah.
And he's a guy who could also he also played some time in center field, so he's got some defensive flexibility out in the out. He's not a liability. Yeah, he's 6'10" and whatever, but he can field his positions well. So I'll round out with Judge. I don't have any honorable mentions. He was the last guy on my list.
So I have two honorable mentions.
I lucked out picking guys from our lifetime.
I have two honorable mentions. One was another guy who was known for having just an absolute cannon. If you remember Raul Mondesi of the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah,
Absolute
I got you. Mondesi spent time in New York.
And then Jackie Bradley Jr., Supermaning over the wall at Fenway. He had a short window where he was just an elite outfielder.
I know there's two outfielders from Boston who are absolutely piss poor defensively, but they were good enough to play in the league. Johnny Damon was a terrible defender allegedly, and Manny played that wall well. Now, he wasn't a good outfielder, but he knew that wall.
Manny was a goofball. You didn't know what you were getting.
Yeah, he was a goofball
with Manny.
You know what though? If you go back and you watch every hit off that wall that Manny had to field, I bet you he played absolutely correctly at least 90% of the time. Every time I saw him take a bounce off the wall, he was holding people to singles. I can't think of the other guy who was a really rough defender. The guy the Yankees got, this big stolen base guy from Boston. He always got hurt. Ellsbury, yeah. I'm not sure Ellsbury was a good defender, but maybe it's just I don't have good memories of him in New York.
I think he was adequate.
I like Manny in the outfield though. It'd be nice to Manny.
Hey, I love Manny.
There you go. That was a today draft. Like I said, we had zero time to think about that.
Yeah, that was like a 9 a.m. Like I was like just putting on like last night's Saturday Night Live, and I was like, oh, we need a draft.
Oh, shucks. Because the top five, I guess we could have done as a draft. It would have been a lot harder, though. I think I like where your head was with this one, being it is the Easter holiday where Catholics celebrate the resurrection. We thought it would be interesting to look at athletes who came back from an injury and either had a breakout year the next year or like a sustained career that was just like you forgot the injury ever existed.
Yeah.
And I had my first thought, which my first one here is not even the most famous of all the ones that I've seen, but I will let you lead us off. Who's your number one?
So my number one, I'm going to go with, it's a little bit of homerism and a little bit of recency bias, but
all mine are homerism and recency, at least maybe not homerism.
I'm going to just say it is amazing that Jason Tatum is even back on the court.
Oh,
as soon as he is from a ruptured Achilles, let alone that he is playing at the level he's playing at.
I think we can look back at this list in 2 to 3 months to see really how big of an impact he'll have near the Eastern Conference Finals. But no,
for him to be rehabbed enough to be back on a court 10 months after his Achilles is unbelievable to me.
So what's the normal, as the recent the resident medical expert here on Super Meatballs? What's the usual? If I tore my Achilles, when would I be back teaching?
It all depends on how well someone does with their rehab, but the baseline expectation is usually it's at least a year. But sometimes
I'm a big baby. It might be 3 years.
I mean, with some guys, depending on the severity of the injury, how well they do the rehab, it can be 14, 16 months more. So for him to be less than a year and to be playing as well, like he's already averaging like 25, 8, and 6. I mean, that's wild.
That's hard to argue, and I won't. That's an excellent first one. The first one that I thought of was, and I didn't know the year it was, so I did have to look the year up. But in week 1, Tom Brady just destroyed his knee back in 2008, and then everybody had a chance. Like the Bills and they had their chance to win the East. didn't matter because in the next year he came back, threw over 4,000 yards, comeback player of the year. Now, they didn't win the Super Bowl that year. They lost in the first round of the Ravens, but Tom Brady went on to 6 more Super Bowls. He won 4 of them. Now, 2 of them were like he probably shouldn't have. One was the Malcolm Butler interception. That wasn't any. That should have been a loss. And the other one was the 28-3 comeback over Atlanta. He led the comeback. He shouldn't have had the chance to lead the comeback. They should have run that clock out well beforehand. But the point is they didn't. So just the fact that he got to 6 Super Bowls after shredding his knee at that, like he wasn't a young kid.
Yeah.
The older you get, the tougher it is to rehab. So the fact that he came back at such a level, I think, says
he
a
had
lot.
already basically had Troy Aikman's career. He'd won 3 Super Bowls.
Up to that point.
But by the time he has that happen to him, and then he goes on to have, if you even just take the
Patrick Mahomes' career.
if you even just go on to like look at the back 9 of his career, like the front 9, he was Troy Aikman, and the back 9, he was Peyton Manning. It's wild to think about. That's a great pick, and also like the Patriots didn't really fall off without him. They had Matt Castle, and they went to the playoffs that year, even without Brady, which says a lot about those Belichick teams. For my number 2, I don't know if I appreciated this quite as much as I should have when it originally happened. But for Mario Lemieux to have been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 93, do radiation, and be back in 2 months for the Penguins. Like now that I'm older and I maybe have a more nuanced understanding of what that means, that's a career ender.
If it's not a potential life ender,
like that's a fatal diagnosis for a lot.
Career notwithstanding.
And he came back and played just as well as ever.
And how many did they win the cup after his return? This is me not knowing hockey.
They won the 91 and 92 cups. 93 is when he has the diagnosis, when they're the 2-time defending champions.
Okay.
So he didn't win another cup after
he still
that.
comes back and he's an all-star.
But he came back and but he came back and played at like an MVP level.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't even thinking hockey-wise, but it's something I remember. And for somebody who didn't pay attention to hockey at all, the story you're telling that it resonates, that I remember, it says how big it was back then. That's a great memory pick right there. Wow. Yeah. Good deal. For mine, my next one, I don't know if he had a tremendous career after this injury, but he certainly had a memorable at bat. I'll say Kirk Gibson in '88 with the hamstring. He can't walk, but he takes an 8th pitch slider from Eckersley over the wall to win Game 1 for the Dodgers. I don't think he had another at bat that series, but that one at bat was enough that I put him on my list.
And
as far as comeback from injury,
I think anyone our age remembers him going from first to second and doing the fist pump. And then I think, do you remember that when he went back after the game to the clubhouse, someone had taped the name Roy Hobbs over his name on his locker? Yeah. I remember that was on a Saturday night, so I was allowed to stay up to watch it. Game 1 of the '88 World Series.
But I'm looking up. I don't want his minor league stuff. Like, how hard is it to find his major league stats?
And I can tell you,
I
remember he had 20. I believe 25.
I found his managerial stats. I'm just trying to see how many years he played after '88. Like he retired in 1996. Like he played, well after the injury. Average stuff. Like he was an above 0 WAR player. nothing like he was in Detroit, but he hung around. Thank you, DH, I guess.
Yeah. And, tough guy. He played football at that other Michigan school. We won't name names. For my number 3 pick, I'm going to go with a guy who suffers a neck injury and everyone just figured his career was done. He gets a neck fusion. Peyton Manning goes on to win a Super Bowl after having the bones of his neck fused together surgically.
That's one I thought of. Didn't he just look funny in Denver?
Yeah, but
it's one of those guys like Joe Montana in Kansas City, Emmitt Smith in Arizona. Peyton Manning and Peyton Manning had a fine run with Denver. It wasn't like
2 Super Bowls. They went 1-1 in Super Bowls with him. He has the 1 year where he throws like 55 touchdowns.
He just didn't look right in Denver. I don't know. But yeah, the year he came back from a neck fusion and won Super Bowl 50, I think it was. That's about as good as you can get.
They had the Super Bowl where they lost to the Seahawks, where the first play of the game was the shotgun snap that went over Manning's head.
Over his head.
And then they had the Super Bowl where they beat the Cam Newton.
Cam Newton looked at a fumble like, I don't know if I want to jump on that or not.
Yeah, I'm still deciding.
He's like an AI processor. I'm not sure. Well,
you can see the little buffering symbol.
Yeah. Did Peyton Manning win the MVP that year too?
The year he threw the 55 touchdowns, I believe.
He won the MVP in 2013 with Denver. That was the year after. And the Offensive Player of the Year. 54, 77, and 55 touchdowns. That's grotesque.
With a completely new neck.
I could use a new neck, but
yeah, most of us just get the one.
I'm not going to get one. So my number 3. I'll stay. I'll go back to football. I was in baseball for a while. We'll go to football here. And in terms of recovery time, this was unheard of back in 2011 when Adrian Peterson shredded his ACL and his MCL. It took him 9 months. He came back and then he ran for over 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
Every time he carried the ball and he was tackled, I think that people are like, "Oh my gosh, what is he going to be okay?" No, it didn't matter. He was unstoppable that year.
He was like the $6 million man. We can build him back better.
And they did. So 2,097 yards and an MVP for a running back. So he played for a team I didn't like because they were a division rival. But he was one of the best running backs of our era. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's tough to. Where would you rank him among running backs of our lifetime?
Our lifetime?
Barry Sanders 1.
Yeah. Barry, Walter Payton 2. And here's where, like, do you care about fantasy numbers or not? Because LaDainian Tomlinson put up all kinds of crazy numbers. And I think playoff-wise, I mean, Adrian Peterson didn't lead Minnesota anywhere that LaDainian Tomlinson didn't lead the Chargers. So he's up there. You got guys like, you got compilers like Curtis Martin.
Frank Gore is a compiler.
Gore. Yeah. You get those guys. You get the guys that are like, oh, he only was good because of his offensive line. I don't care. Emmitt Smith has more yards rushing than anybody on the planet. You get like the multi-purpose guys like Thurman Thomas and Marshall Faulk. I think Adrian Peterson is it's a fair argument to put him top 5. And where you put people 3 after Barry and Walter, I mean, if you put him 3, it's hard to argue. If you put him 5, it's hard to argue.
Yeah, I very well might have Peterson 3, and great inclusion on this list. For my number 4, I'm going to go to baseball, and I think of a guy who at one time in his career wore this hat. Andres Galarraga, another cancer survivor who gets diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma and came back with the Braves to have an all-star season after doing cancer treatments. He was already, the big cat, at first base. He was a great defensive player, but he was like a 30 home run guy, or close to it. I believe it was in 99 with the Braves at first base for them.
2000.
Oh, 99 might have been the year he was doing treatment. 2000 might have been when he came back.
Yeah, he came back with the Braves, hit 302 with 28 homers and 100 runs batted in. He attempted 8 stolen bases. He was caught 5 times. So maybe don't do that. But no, a story I don't remember. I don't remember Galarraga's cancer fight.
Yeah, because his career kind of went in phases where he was like a young defensive first baseman, borderline power guy for the Expos. Then he had his second life with the Rockies because the Expos kind of left him unprotected. And they thought he was done for, and the Rockies picked him up. Then he has the cancer fight, and he comes back, and the Braves take a chance on him. And
home run in his first game.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Galarraga's recovery considered one of the most inspiring comebacks in sports history, allowing him to finish a career in which he was a 5-time All-Star and a former NL batting champion. That's great, man.
And he's another one that people forget how great Andres Galarraga was.
Yeah. He in the mid '80s, I remember having the baseball card that had his name on it. Like I knew who he was. And considering like somebody like me in 1988, 10 years old playing with He-Mans, to know who this guy was says something. I'm looking at his numbers right now. For the 80s, really, really solid numbers. It's the 90s. Like when he found Colorado. Oh, did he like Colorado?
Yeah.
Oh. 31, 47 to lead the league, 41, 44 home runs. Oh, for the 44 home runs came with the Braves. Good on that guy.
Also, I will say I was at the movies yesterday, and they've already got like the displays up for He-Man. Like lobby displays.
I want one of those for my classroom.
I'm sure if you ask it like your local movie theater, they'll give it to you, or they'll sell it.
Nice. I don't have a local movie theater. We have to drive half an hour. Half an hour to Hagerstown.
I think you told me that when you went to see the Minecraft movie.
I'm thinking tomorrow might be a good day to go see the Super Mario movie. I got to see what the schedule says because we get Easter Monday off here in the district.
There were a lot of people at the movies to see the Mario movie, like a lot of families. I'm assuming they were there to see the Mario movie.
Not like what was the other one? Rosanna was just telling me she wanted to see this movie. It's gone.
Hoppers? Was it the Pixar movie?
No.
About cute bunnies or whatever?
Movie theater stuff. What's the movie theater near me? Darn it. Project Hail Mary.
I went to see that. It was okay.
Yeah, Hoppers looks like it's family friendly. But no, I don't think that's okay. It's a different thing. All right, I'm gonna get back to my list here.
Yeah,
we get tangenting out here. This was one that here's a guy who's 34 years old, has had a really, really great career, and then he has to get Tommy John surgery. And then what does he do to follow it up? Well, he comes back and he transitions into being a closer, and he contends for the Cy Young at 44 years old. How about John Smoltz?
That's a good one.
Smoltz is 34 years old, getting a Tommy John surgery. He pitches 9 more years. But what really makes him interesting is his transition from starter to closer, and then from closer back to starter. He won a league high 16 games his second to last year. So the guy was something else.
And
regardless of what you think of him as an announcer.
To piggyback off of that, let's give an honorable mention to Tommy John, who thought his career was over and undergoes an experimental surgery that was so groundbreaking they named it after him.
It's his name, sure.
But yeah, Smoltz is a good one where he has one of the more unique pitching careers of our lifetimes, where at one point you could argue he was the best starter in baseball, and then you could argue he's the best closer in baseball, and then he comes back to lead the
National League.
What's that?
I give you he could argue the best closer in the National League.
Well, right.
It's his era. I saw this thing on TikTok. This guy writes out like the all-decade team in the National League, the all-decade team, the all like 90s or all 2000s team. And when they get down to closer, they put Trevor Hoffman down there. And some absolute boob, some idiot is like, "Have you ever heard of Mariano?" And all the comments are that like, "Well, yeah, but when was the last time he pitched in the National League? Dummy. Watch what the video is." Yeah, so.
Yeah, dummy.
I don't know the guy's name. I would put him on the list too.
My number 5, I'm going to go back to football. Alex Smith suffers one of the ugliest compound fractures where he almost lost his leg.
He had 17 surgeries, I think.
Yeah.
It was some ridiculous number.
And is still able to come back. And, I mean, more than most quarterbacks, like he was a mobile guy, like because he was a runner in college. That was a part of his game in the pros. And, he really kind of had to adapt post-surgery. But for him to even have 2 legs was a miracle, let alone come back to the field and play.
To have the equipment to stand and play. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Alex Smith, like if you've ever seen pictures or video of the injury or the aftermath, like the surgeries, you see how just grisly it was.
That doesn't sound like something I want to look up.
Yeah. If you don't like blood or broken bones sticking out of skin,
like real life ones, like I'm still haunted and troubled by the Napoleon McCallum injury.
Yeah,
that was rough. And it's another like one of the ugliest injuries, and it wasn't anything like it was bad, but Jason Kendall's ankle.
Oh yeah,
on first base was brutal.
Yeah, that was
yeah. The Alex Smith thing is like that's horror movie level.
Yeah, anytime you see bone poking out of skin,
that's bad.
Yeah, you don't need to go to med school to know that's what people in the healthcare game call bad.
Yeah. UConn basketball, good. Bone out of body.
If there are no other takeaways from this podcast today,
that's the medical knowledge of soup and meatballs. For my number 5, I'm going to go straight homer. And I remember where I was when this happened. I was sitting on the couch at WYLN watching the game on TV when Derek Jeter slid into third base on opening day in 2003 and separated his shoulder up against Toronto. And I was mad at the third baseman because it looked like he dropped his knee on him. But he misses 6 weeks. And when he comes back, he hits 324 and leads New York to the playoffs again. I did the math. If you look at he had 542 plate appearances that year. He missed out on about 200. If you apply his career batting average of 310 to those 200 missed at bats, he gets about 60 more hits, which puts him above Tris Speaker for 5th all time. So that's minutia. But the fact that you separate your shoulder at a position like shortstop and you still come back and hit 324, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think the toughness doesn't get talked about enough when people talk about Jeter. Just because there's so many qualities people think of first. The clutch gene and the championships and all that. That I think that gets overlooked.
Yeah, Buster Olney wrote a book, The Last Day of the Yankees Dynasty.
Yeah,
in that
great book.
In that book, he talks about Derek Jeter playing Game 7 on a broken ankle.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he broke it or when it was injured, but I've sprained my ankles enough. Like that's crazy. Like you need 7 cortisone shots and wrap it up, I guess. But my gosh, man.
I think a lot of fans gloss over how grueling a baseball season is to play 162 games in like 185 days. When you think about all the cross-country flights and, the injuries, getting hit by pitches, and just...
Especially Jeter, because he was a leaner.
Yeah.
He didn't mind. And guys like Pedro were more than happy to accommodate him.
I think that, for being thrown together at the last minute, those were good lists, good draft.
Fine top 5. And you'll see really how thrown together Mr. Smarty Pants was. One question, which I'm gonna do it Jeopardy style for you, and a list that it's going to be interesting. The question, Jeopardy style. Earlier in the show, we talked about Derek getting a guitar from his cousin Robbie Sacco. Robbie Sacco played that guitar with his sister and 3 friends in a band. The question for you: what the directional spirit was the band named after?
Directional spirit?
Yeah, which directional spirit?
I can't say I know.
I got you on one. You know the all-time leader in women's basketball history in Bloomsburg. But,
who is Teresa Lenzi?
The directional spirit. I'm still working on the T-shirt, by the way. I meant to ask you this. What size are you?
Extra large.
I got to find an extra large shirt then. The directional spirit, which Robbie Sacco's band was named after, was Southern Comfort.
Oh,
Southern.
I was thinking
Goat?
like spirit, like I was like the Holy Spirit.
Oh no, certainly not.
I thought it was like Easterly, Southern Comfort. Okay,
there you go. And it's because Aunt Joan wrote Derek a letter, kind of explaining where the guitar came from. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, that was nice.
Now your list, I have. We talked about the great defensive outfielders of all time, or at least of our lifetime. I currently have the Baseball Reference page for outfield assists open. I'm going to give you 10 guesses. We're going to find these players, and we're going to find their rank, where they fall on the all-time list, and we're going to come up with an average. Okay. The best average you can get is 5.5. That would be you getting 1 through 10 added up. We divide by 10.
Okay.
Let's see how low a number you can get. I'm gonna get you got 10 guesses, and this might require some control effing over here.
Okay. So
most outfield assists of all time.
Okay, Clemente.
Clemente he ranks 17th.
Good.
So Clemente 17. So you're not going to get a perfect score, but that's okay.
How about Dave Parker?
Dave Parker, with 143 outfield assists, comes in at 134.
Oh God!
I wouldn't have pulled Dave Parker out. Don't feel bad. Guess number 3.
How about the Hawk, Andre Dawson?
Andre Dawson a little better, 157 outfield assists. He comes in at 105.
Okay.
You need more Clementes.
How about Vlad?
VLAD. Vladimir Guerrero only has 126. That puts him 198th.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's good. That's gonna leave a mark.
Boy. So I don't just need people with arms, but people who played a while.
You do need somebody with arms. Not only is it hard to catch a ball in the outfield without an arm, it's really hard to throw somebody out.
First, we had Alex Smith with one leg. How about Ichiro?
Ichiro. Oh my goodness. 123 outfield assists puts him at 211.
I'm really bad at this.
Yeah, you are, but that's it's part of the fun. You absolutely know the names of 1 and 2. I know you do. But whether you get them, it's a different story. If you pull out the number 10 guy, you're not only getting a T-shirt, but you'll get a hat.
How about someone like how about Carl Yastrzemski?
Carl Yastrzemski, that is an excellent guess. 195 puts him 58. Okay. Now we're back into double digits. Now we're cooking with grease.
Okay. Oh, cooking with grease. How about Tim Raines?
Raines comes in with 134, makes him 168.
Oof. What's that? 6?
Yep, you have 7. You have 3 more guesses.
Okay.
Parker, Dawson, Vlad, Ichiro, Yaz, and Raines.
I'll throw Andre Jones in there.
Oh, that he is of all of the Joneses. Okay, and Andrew Jones has 124, which puts him at 207.
Boy,
so it's a weird list, man.
Yeah. Trying to think of someone else who would have like a lot of outfield.
The length of the career is important too. I mean, the guy ranked number 1 played, was it 22 years?
Hank Aaron. He played a long time.
Let's see where Hank falls. Aaron with 203 outfield assists is tied for 51st.
And then Willie Mays played 20 some odd years.
He did. You gonna go with Willie Mays?
Yeah.
Willie Mays is 196, just above Carl Yastrzemski. So Mays gets you a 56.
So my number is going to be in like the low 100s, like maybe like 130s.
Why we have the phone here, because I didn't write this in Excel. I should have. So 17, 134, 105, 198, 211, 58, 168, 207. That's a brutal one. 51 and 56. We divide that by 10. Your magic number is 120.5. The number 1 and number 2 guys, Tris Speaker.
Oh, sure.
Tris Speaker had 449 outfield assists, and the number 2 guy was Ty Cobb.
Oh.
The number 10 guy was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He died in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's buried at West Laurel Hill Cemetery in Bala Cynwyd, Pennsylvania. His full name is George W. Schaefer, but he is more commonly known as Orator Schaefer.
And you're saying I didn't get that right?
You didn't, yeah. So if you got Orator Schaefer, what else I could have given you?
You would have owed me a full tuxedo.
That says Mr. Smarty. We would have made a Mr. Smarty Pants Fungo Pop and shook it to you. Orator Schaefer came in number 10. The other people on the list, I mean, if you're interested, the list was Speaker Cobb, Jimmy Ryan was 3rd, Tom Brown and George Van Heltren both tied for 4th, Harry Hooper 6th, Max Carey 7th, Jimmy Sheckard 8th, and Clyde Milan was 9th.
Well, don't I feel like a dummy?
Well, you got an average of 120.
That's respectable.
That's fair. So anybody watching, if you had done this before, like along with us, 120 that's a solid number. I think Andrew Jones hurt you a lot.
I needed to think like dead ball guys.
Because it just says outfield assist. It could have been throwing a guy out at second, not just throw them out at home.
All right. Well, I have a trivia question for you.
Game delayed in New York. That's unfortunate. So let's get this ready, Mr. Noodlehead.
Okay.
Question or list? Okay, good. These are shorter at least.
Since 1980, there have been 2 number 1 overall draft picks in the NBA who never played a playoff game.
Okay. This feels like a list.
Well, there are only 2, so I don't think 2 is quite a list.
It's a list of 2. Number 1 picks have never played in a playoff game. Joseph Smith.
It is not Joe Smith, the pride of Maryland.
How about that? I'm gonna hammer. It's like Banyani or?
No, it's not Barnani.
Not him. Okay. Since you say 1980, I have a feeling it's like who was the top pick in 81 or 82?
I can tell you it's both were post 2000. Picked post 2000. I just went back to 1980 because that's how far back it goes that no one in that time span has played. Like you know what I mean? Like it's that far back.
Sure. I mean, are you gonna say Cooper Flagg?
Well, all right. Cooper Flagg doesn't count.
He's a top pick. He didn't make it. Hey, I win. Woo! Yay, technicality. He'll be on the list in a couple of weeks.
He will, because the Mavericks are not making the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs. So, did the Magic have a top pick recently?
Oh well, now this might be a flawed question because the Spurs number 1 pick. Oh, but he wasn't number 1 overall. Never mind.
Stephen Castle.
He wasn't the number 1 overall last year.
Has Wemby made a playoff game
not.
yet?
So,
that'll change. We'll swap Wembanyama and Cooper Flagg in about a week
but that wasn't one of the answers. So this is a flawed question.
Oh well, that's okay. It was a good effort on a.
This is like the one you found online. I found this online, but Wemby has not made a playoff series. He will, but because Zion Williamson hasn't.
Zion was the other one.
Anthony Bennett.
Where's Bennett?
I forget what year he was the number 1 pick.
Okay. Because I wouldn't have pulled him.
But yeah, obviously Wembanyama hasn't yet, but he will be the number 2 seed this year.
Yeah, so that's the thing when you find these questions online, it happens to me on TikTok all the time, where people are like they're so sure of this, and like the first thing I'll do is like, ooh, that's cool. The first thing I do is I look at the comments to see how many people have corrected it, and then I try to research it, and sometimes you find they're like only 3 people have done this. And you're like, I just found 12 more.
And it's funny because when we changed the time and I was like, I need some sort of like trivia or something. So I hastily wrote that down because I saw it like earlier in the week and I screenshotted it. That's me making excuses.
I went to this Easter egg gathering yesterday. And, I spent zero. Usually Saturday is like my, what can we talk about? Because we're as a weekly show, like if I remember what I hear on the radio on Tuesday, it'd be like, oh, this would be something else. We really got to talk about this. Or I have this running notepad here. Let's see what I've written down here under, ideas. Oh, you know what? So I heard this on the radio, and I just didn't check this. So little post Soup and Meatballs quick hitter. San Francisco and some other NFC West team, as I've written it down, are playing a game in Australia this year. They don't have a bye week coming back. How fair is that?
Yeah, that's brutal.
16 hours on a plane. Neither team have a bye week coming back off of that, and that's it's a non-Seattle team. So, and maybe it's the Rams that they're playing in Australia. For a team that's won the Super Bowl, that won the division in a really, really tough division, San Francisco is at a massive disadvantage playing in Australia. And I'm still wondering, like, why the NFL, why Roger Goodell wants to globalize this game. Like, it doesn't need to be.
I mean, do we have any indication that, I mean, I know there are some fans in other countries, but are there enough that, like, to sustain this idea?
Certainly not to put a team there. Like, putting a team in London would be one thing. Putting a team in Toronto or Mexico City, like these time zones,
right?
Fine, that's whatever. But London,
Germany,
or Australia is the most ridiculous because, like, what is the weather like in Melbourne in January?
Killer spiders.
82 degrees. It can be 82 degrees in Melbourne in January. So can you imagine a playoff game where maybe the first week of the playoffs you're playing against the Patriots where it's 10, and then you're going to fly to Melbourne where it's 80?
Yeah, just for a host of reasons, it's a bad idea.
Yeah, that was the other little quip I had. That maybe we could talk about NFL wise. So
even if you want to compare it to like Premier League soccer or like European soccer, like Europe is still like only about the size of like the continental U.S. Like when you think about it, like how many time zones there are and how much travel's involved.
The travel around Europe is nothing compared to, because it's really States.
When we talk about Europe, we're talking about Western Europe, because Russia's a whole other animal.
Sure, but I mean, Western Europe, like my sister-in-law and father-in-law have traveled around enough there. Like it's a 2-hour train ride to get from country to country. I can't get to Philadelphia in 2 hours.
Right.
I live in Pennsylvania. So.
Yeah, like think about California, where it's 5 hours to get from Southern California to San Francisco. That's as far as any trip you're going to have in Western Europe.
But the other, like I think the bigger thing is interest level. Like I think European countries are massively big in soccer. Australia, though, it's interesting because they're big into rugby. Which is, it's football adjacent. It's not the same, but it's, they're cousins.
I mean, the NFL at best in Europe would be what MLS is here in America, which is a fringe sport that you watch if nothing else is on.
And we're doing Sunday shows at 10 o'clock, and you're looking over, like, they got Carolina, and they got the Panthers and Giants over there. Like, that's how you grow the game.
Yeah.
The Panthers and Giants.
We're not sending our best.
The year that they opened in Brazil, they sent the Eagles and Packers, but that was week 1 where you can sort of mitigate travel a little bit. Like, I was really excited that the Yankees were opening on a West Coast trip because that's what they get 2 West Coast trips, and they got one of them out of the way.
Again this year, though, where the Chiefs and the Chargers played overseas to start the season, the YouTube game.
Where were they?
I believe that was in Brazil again.
That was Brazil. It wasn't like Germany. Okay. I mean, that's still relatively time zone wise. It's got to be closer than
because
Europe
that's the game where they had like Mr. Beast. They had all like YouTube people like Mr. Beast was doing like a halftime show, and it was like I had to Google. I was like, "Who's this jabroni? Like, what am I watching?"
Oh, you don't? Oh, no, Mr. Beast is something, man. We get Mr. Beast to fund this show, and you and I are going to Sizzler.
I thought it's like
He gives out a lot of money. I like Mr. Beast is okay. He's not on the list. He's nowhere near on the list. He's on the other
what
list.
I know about him. I'm on the fence about Mr. Beast. It's not a sentence I would have imagined saying in the year 1995.
Easter Sunday in 2026.
Yeah, send this in a
We're
time
questioning-
capsule back to like 20-year-old me, and I'd be like, I know what all those words mean individually, but not in that
What
order.
the hell is Mr. Beast? And what's YouTube?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
When did Max get so gray? Why is Tim wearing glasses?
Oh man. I was looking over. For whatever reason, I was looking through an old picture album, and I found a. I won't broadcast it because oh my gosh, but it's the one of David Ellis, Brian Ellis, you and me playing knockout.
Oh, my mullet is spicy.
I don't think it was like that long though. I really
I've
don't.
got some great tube socks going.
The tube socks and the cut
Yeah.
sweatpants are
That was
a
a choice.
thing. But yeah, that was a choice. The Clyde Drexler homemade Portland Trailblazer tank top I'm wearing. That was also
We were
a thing.
all making.
I remember my
choices.
dad got that. For me.
Bad choice.
That was awesome. That wasn't a bad choice. That was a cool, do it yourself jersey that,
You were like a
I-
forerunner to Etsy.
I wasn't. Yeah. And you know what? The guy who did it, the font was like dead on.
I
It was
remember
great. Well, you know what? You know what I will share? I wonder if I'm able to. Hang on here. Oh boy. This is well worth sitting through 2 hours of soup and meatballs. If I can share this, I can't. Was a window? Oh, the window. Yes, I can. There it is.
Oh, look at that, bud.
You know where that's from?
That A1 grocery store, or Giant.
It's Giant. You know what
Yeah,
we were
we
doing?
were filming with a borrowed camera from Mr. Canella.
Absolute
Wearing my
idiots.
old
And we-
Michigan
That
jacket
guy-
that it looks like is maybe like a size too big for me.
Dude, that Michigan jacket was awesome, and the Frank Thomas White
Yeah.
Sox hat. There's also to not be. Oh, I can't. That's blurry. To not just do that to you. Come on, folder open. Oh, here we go. It's from the same time period. Any of my students watching, it's me with hair.
Yeah, that's us like 1994.
What do you want on your tombstone? Was that 94?
Like 10th grade. 94, 95.
Yeah, I guess it would have been. I guess it would have been. And what are the odds you and I both wearing Chicago hats? How about that? Can I find? No, this is great. As we just close out the show with some good memories.
Oh yeah, loitering in front of the no loitering sign.
No loitering. That was at Wendy's at the mall.
What rebels?
Yeah, and there is the manager of Giant that did an interview with us about the food options at Giant. That's me interviewing him. Then there was this. You remember this guy?
I do.
Just random guy in the parking lot decides to stop and talk to us. This was back when we didn't care about who we were talking to. This was the bar owner at. Where did we go in the
Gabriel's.
Heights? Gabriel's. I think he ran Gabriel's.
Also, shout out to a bar for letting two 15-year-olds in. Oh well, you would have been 16. You
Yeah.
had your license.
That's me stealing a shopping cart.
Retroactive apologies to all
Good
the
times.
adults in Hazleton in 1994, 1995 that we minorly harassed.
But you know what though? I mean, we got interesting footage that we assembled into what we call the Granada tapes, and it's an interesting look back in the 90s if you ever get a chance to see it. Which I think I still have the DVD that I made. Yeah, that's us. That's it. So, all right, man. Well, you have a pleasant rest of your Easter Sunday. Hope you had a good time here. I had a good show. I think we're gonna go do some kind of luncheon now, or try to play some kind of games. But either way, next week will be far more organized, and I don't know. Either way, Monday, go blue.
Yes.
I want to win my gift card.